The cards are starting to fall in Foolio's favor, and the case may soon be resolved.
Isaiah Chance, Elisa Andrews, Sean Gaithright, Davion Murphy, and Rashard Murphy are all accused of playing a role in Jones's death.
The crimes they committed are more dramatic than their arrests. The fact that they trailed their target for days before killing him and utilized highly skilled planning are unsettling revelations.
The level of planning and coordination between these 5 defendants was truly alarming.
As suspects were seen on video following Jones from location to location.
Sadly, if proven guilty, they have only one fate in store.
All 5 of these defendants are facing life in the Florida State Prison.
In what manner were they apprehended? Be ready to have your mind blown then. Every Foolio's murderers are in custody. 3 days had passed since the vicious ambush that killed Charles Jones, alias Julio Foolio, on June 26th. As a result, Jacksonville Sheriff's deputies were on high alert. Tension was high in the streets, and the search for the murderers was getting more intense. A apparently ordinary traffic stop on this particular day would turn into a crucial point in the inquiry. Deputies saw the scene as they saw a gold SUV rushing through Jacksonville's streets. The windows of the car were darkly tinted, making it hard to see who was inside. The patrol lights on the unmarked sheriff's car came on, alerting the motorist to stop. When the driver complied, the car stopped. The deputies had no idea that this stop would bring them one step closer to solving Julio Foolio's murder. Sean Gaithright, age 18, was recognized as the driver of the gold SUV. The deputies could smell marijuana strongly coming from inside the car as soon as they got close to it. Sean, nevertheless, denied ever using or possessing marijuana. The deputies understood they had probable cause to search the car, despite his denial. Sean was instructed to exit the SUV and wait at the rear while the deputies carried out a comprehensive search. They found a little bag containing mushrooms and marijuana traces as they started their search. But that was only the beginning. They discovered a semi-automatic Glock 19 handgun in the middle console. Red flags were raised right away when the firearm was discovered, but what they discovered next would be even more concerning. Deputies found multiple bags of ammo and gun components and accessories in the rear seats of the SUV. The huge amount of ammunition among the parts of the handgun indicated that Sean was not your typical adolescent. The deputies realized they had made a significant discovery. Sean was apprehended and placed under arrest right away. For an interview, he was taken to the Crime Gun Intelligence Center office. The deputies were hopeful that this arrest would provide important information that would enable them to break open the investigation. The gravity of the situation hit Sean as he sat in the interrogation room. Sean refused to provide any information when the cops pressed him. Even though he did not say anything, the evidence in his car spoke a lot. The parts of the pistol, the ammo, and the Glock 19 all suggested a possible criminal connection. The inquiry would take a different turn after the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office obtained useful intelligence the following day. The evidence suggested a murderous plot, and Sean's apprehension provided the crucial element to reveal this fresh development. This intelligence led to the rapid execution of a search warrant. Investigators got to a house on the north side of Jacksonville. They were told that Isaiah Chance, age 21, Alicia Andrews, age 21, and a baby were inside the house. The investigators encircled the residence and commenced issuing spoken directives via PA.
Isaiah Chance, this is the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. We are in your front driveway. We have a warrant for your arrest. Come to the front door with nothing in your hand.
They gave the next 15 to 20 minutes notice to the inmates to surrender.
All right, go to your knees. Put your hands behind your back. Turn around. Put your hands behind your back.
At last, Alicia and Isaiah came out of the house with the infant in their arms. They were apprehended without any problems. A major development in the case was the arrest of Isaiah and Alicia and the evidence discovered in Sean's car. With 3 suspects in custody, the detectives' puzzle pieces began to fit together. Though the investigation was far from finished, law enforcement's tenacious efforts were starting to bear fruit. But the tale does not stop there. The remaining suspect was still being sought after, directing attention towards Rashard Murphy. 30-year-old Jacksonville resident Rashard Murphy had escaped from custody. With the aid of U.S. Marshals, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office traced Murphy's activities and pieced together his whereabouts. They arrived at the Collins Preserve Apartments in Jacksonville's Ortega neighborhood as a result of their efforts. Tuesday's early hours saw the deployment of SWAT teams to the Collins Preserve apartments, one day after the initial 3 suspects were taken into custody. To stop Murphy from escaping, the SWAT squad set up a cordon around the flat where they thought he was hiding. According to Clogged Kid, Rashad Murphy was unwilling to give up and had locked himself inside the house while FaceTiming his girlfriend, holding a gun to his head. Negotiators for the police made an effort to speak with Rashad Murphy and encouraged a nonviolent surrender. There was tension in the standoff as the officers were ready for anything. The dramatic operation came to a conclusion just after midnight when Rashad Murphy surrendered after a tense confrontation.
Keep crawling. Hello towards me.
Only Davian Murphy remains on the loose. When investigators dug deeper into Isaiah and Alicia's pasts, they found shocking links to the crime. Isaiah had official membership in ATK, also referred to as ACE's Top Killer, or Aim to Kill. This gang membership was an important missing piece of the picture since it connected Isaiah to the current conflict between rival rapper Young and Ace, who was also connected to ATK and Foolio. Tensions between Jacksonville's competing gangs had boiled over in the days before he was killed. The 6 Block Gang and ATK and 1200, 2 other affiliated street gangs, had a protracted rivalry. This rivalry resulted in multiple violent altercations and a trail of bloodshed over the course of more than 10 years. There is documentation identifying Rashad and Davian Murphy as 1,200 gang members. Foolio became a target in this ongoing gang battle because of his membership in the 6 Block Gang. The evil scheme started to take shape between June 21st and June 23rd. The 5 suspects want to exact revenge on Foolio as part of their gang's plan. Determined to find and eliminate their target, the group made its way from Jacksonville to Tampa. They arrived in Tampa in 2 different cars on June 22nd. Their objective was rather clear: find Charles Jones and make amends. The next day, June 23rd, Isaiah Chance and Alicia Andrews started their search and followed Jones and his group to several sites.
As suspects were seen on video following Jones from location to location.
Chance coordinated with the other suspects using a cell phone, which led to a lethal altercation. Foolio and his group were located in the home 2 suites at 11606 Nash McKinley Drive on the tragic night of June 23rd. After Foolio left a club, both cars followed him to the hotel where the ambush took place.
At 4:15 in the morning, Jones began to head to a hotel on McKinley. One of the suspect vehicles is seen following the victim. However, instead of following them into a parking lot, they stage across the street.
One of the cars was captured on camera, passing by Foolio's parked car twice, presumably establishing which vehicle he was in. Then, 3 armed gunmen jumped out of a car and took up positions in a synchronized attack.
And you can see the shooters are getting in position for their planned out murder.
And with a handgun and 2 rifles, they started fire, murdering Foolio as soon as they were in position. The guns rang out and Foolio's automobile took off. But it was too late.
And they are shooting at Charles now. And you can see that he's the passenger in that car that's moving and trying to flee.
The rounds kept coming in unrelentingly. 3 people were hurt in the barrage of gunfire, and Charles Jones was killed instantly. The 3 shooters, Sean Gathright, Davian Murphy, and Rashad Murphy, left the scene.
At 4:38, 3 shooters exit a vehicle and walked in the direction of the hotel. They murdered Jones with a handgun and 2 rifles. This barrage of gunfire also struck 3 additional victims who miraculously survived this incident.
Only 3 of the 5 actually pulled the trigger, yet they are all facing life in prison.
All 5 of these defendants are facing life in the Florida State Prison, even the ones who didn't pull the trigger. In Florida, if you participate in the planning of a murder, you can be held accountable for the person's death. And that is what we intend to do here.
Surveillance footage from a hotel and a parked Tesla both showed the suspects. Law enforcement was able to identify the cars and connect them to the suspects with the aid of license plate readers, car logs, and this film. The investigators were getting closer to the people who committed the horrible act as the evidence continued to accumulate. But it appears that more people will be taken into custody, with Young and Ace appearing to have a higher chance of going to jail. Not only is he under the police's suspicion, but there may be proof that ties him to the crime.
So Young and Ace has long been known in Jacksonville, but he can't move around in Jacksonville without us knowing about it.
Is the commander of the ATK gang getting surrounded by walls? Perhaps. He posted a clip of his conversation with DJ Academic on Instagram, following the announcement of the arrests.
You approach me, Be ready to die. Be ready to die or go to jail.
That's not your mentality, is that?
That's my mentality. I'm ready to die or go to jail right now.
Ace seemed to be completely rattled. Are there any federal proof that would allow him to be imprisoned? It is possible that Ace simply came clean, as evidenced by the 2 disinformation campaigns that Foolio faced after his death. Ace disclosed that using women as bait is one method to obtain operations.
I tell my dogs, stay away from all them but they'll drop your low. The you don't with. And don't think nobody set you up. I know for a fact somebody set you up.
Apparently, a woman backdoored Foolio, according to rumors circulating. This is Alicia Andrews, without a doubt. A popular commentator named College Kid disclosed that shortly before the murder, Alicia, one of the 5 people detained, was at Foolio's party. College Kid claims that Alicia tracked out Isaiah Chance and Sean Gathright Foolio all night long. Alicia Andrews, a 21-year-old murder suspect in the case of Foolio, was purportedly in Tampa to celebrate the birthday of a rapper from Jacksonville. Informed suspects Sean Gathright and Isaiah Chance of his whereabouts, according to the message. Some others claim that this was Alicia from the party in the comment area. If this is accurate, Foolio is not the only rapper to fail when a woman backstabs him. FBG Cash met the same end in one of the most well-known instances, which originated from the Chicago drill culture.
And dad, like 5 o'clock that morning, you was loose as hell, trying to ride around with in the rack. Come on, bro, ain't no doing that, cuz. You know better, like, these will set you up.
FBG Cash was a difficult man to approach. Though Chief Keef was an op, it was no secret that the rapper was a women man. He even boasted about dating Keef's mother.
It was some that had happened with me and Chief Keef's mama, and that just put me over the top, like, far as, like, people want to know who I am.
What
like,
happened with his mom?
Like, I used to with her. Like, yeah. Yeah. I ain't gonna count.
Cash made the decision to snap a picture close to the painting of King Von, giving the middle finger after he was assassinated. Instead of offering condolences for the late artist, he captioned the image with the statement, "Everyone saw Yo Main Sniper get his splat." The guys that Von was closest to, Lil Durk, did not think kindly of this stunt. In his song Computer Murderers, Lil Durk chose to defend Von by rapping about Von Mura's sly photos, saying things like, "Lil Bro will not come out and spin." Cash continued to disseminate King Von's singing while using Durk's beat on Computer Murderers, seemingly relishing the publicity. Von received applause for this. "You made us believe he was under pressure." Cash cherished the cloud for helping to advance his musical career. In interviews, he even started to ridicule his operations. He was questioned about his iconic act at King Von's mural during one interview. He retorted that Lil Durk had instructed him to do
I
it.
think at some point you take the picture in front of O-Block, in front of the King Von mural. So what was going on with all that?
Dirk told me to do that.
Dirk told you to do that?
Yeah.
His ops would eventually come up with him, and Durk's social media warning provided a hint as to what would happen next. Lil Durk had warned him on Instagram not to do this stuff because it will not work out if you are pursuing and lingering. The Instagram story stated that it was March. Cash was immediately featured on the news because he disregarded all advice. Cash was picked up by a female acquaintance on June 9th, 2022, and they went to a nightclub. The rapper took her to a friend's house to spend the night with her after the club. Cash took the girl in the back seat and drove home at roughly 5 in the morning. She claimed that she was exhausted and ready to go to sleep. A car cut them off a few minutes later, and Cash pulled to a stop at the stop sign on the 1600 block of West 81st. 3 males leaped out and began shooting. As he fired back, Cash got out of the car, but soon enough, he was overwhelmed. Later, Cash was brought to Christ, Oaklawn Hospital, where he passed away from his wounds. He passed away from his wounds at hospital in Oaklawn, according to sources. Reports state that a few weeks prior to FBG Cash was in the unfortunate tragedy that took his life. Participated in a shooting where he even had suspicions that the woman he was with had set him up. Fortunately, the bullet missed his arm entirely, and he survived to tell the story.
When I went to look, I was like, damn. Like the bullet had ripped all my jacket. Like, I'm like, I'm shot.
Ace appears like he might end himself in handcuffs eventually, based on his posts about not fearing death or going to jail and his opinion on women assisting in Operation Setup. Furthermore, he will not be the only rapper imprisoned for murder if he does wind up behind bars. Sentenced are killer rappers. When discussing great rappers, Tay-K always comes to mind. When he was accused of his first murder, he was just 16 years old. A failed home invasion in Mansfield, Texas, on July 26, 2016, served as the catalyst for a string of violent incidents. Tay-K and his pals broke into 21-year-old Ethan Walker's house. Walker tragically died, and another man was hurt as the heist suddenly turned nasty. Tay-K was armed with brass knuckles during the invasion, even though he did not have a pistol. Tay-K was taken into custody after the home.
And who would know where I was at? Like, fuck, I wasn't, like, you can't see in my car. And then fucking, it's not like I was sitting straight up in her car. And then, like, if she did set me up, like, she did it with the wrong people because they didn't kill Cho.
Invasion and accused of capital murder. He was first placed in juvenile jail due to his age, but he was eventually placed under home arrest, given an ankle monitor, and had to wait for a hearing to find out if he would face an adult trial. Approaching the hearing, Tay-K made a crucial choice. A few days prior to the hearing in March 2017, he disconnected his ankle monitor and absconded. This daring escape signaled the start of a statewide manhunt and a string of shocking crimes that the country would never forget. Tay-K published The Race, which would go on to become his most well-known song while he was running.